shake it up. Shaking up the garbage we feed on. Shaking up our wondrous being. Let's begin the reform. Even if just for a moment, to share the cloying and the suffocating skin. Let's shake it up right now. Let's shake it up right now. Let's shake it up right now. Shake it up. Languishing in thoughts, lucidity doesn't benefit.
It's incredible to meet new people, isn't it? It's incredible to meet new people and share new people. But at times, you meet people who you know immediately or possibly within a short period of time that something amazing, incredible is going to happen. Now, I can't share too much about that at the moment, but what I can share is an incredible person that I've met. And Samantha Jean, artist Samantha Jean Music, if you search across all platforms, Spotify, etc., incredible vocalist, writer, so much more. Somebody with such, I am going to use the phrase because it came to me, such a deep soul and a beautiful reservoir of energy. And that's something that's wonderful to share with you. And there is more. There is so much more to come. So join with me in the Creative Shake-Up podcast in welcoming Samantha Jean. I'm going to be using my preferred term towards Sam. I will be saying Sam for the remainder of our time together. And this is not going to be the last interview. There's so much more to share, but we're going to be focusing on one particular musical release of Sam's at the current time. It's going to be amazing. Here we go. A lovely image of you.
Oh, thank
Beautiful.
you very much.
No, you're welcome.
Let me get you up.
Okay.
Go. There you go. How's that?
Oh, that's really, really good. I'm not massively a jealous person, but I'm just a little bit jealous of like the beautiful lights in the background. And
It's taken me all bloody day to sort it. It's taken me all day. Is my sound quality all right, by the way?
It's really good. You're coming through loud and clear. Definitely.
Brilliant.
And visually you're coming through loud and clear as well. So yeah, brilliant. Everything's perfect. And you're right in the midst of it. You might have noticed I've clicked record already.
Yes.
Boom. We're away. Yeah. So the Creative Shake-Up podcast is the name of this thing that we are. And I think just very briefly, I'm going to share an opening, which is, that's not a job opportunity, by the way, but an opening that is, we've only known each other at time of recording 4 weeks, 4 days, there or thereabouts.
Yes.
We're going to be doing something like this again, because we've got to, because there's lots of other things to share in the future. And yeah, I think there's a wonderful studio in Cheshire, which myself and John used, which you may have seen, Cheshire Podcast Studios. I've got a feeling that we're going to be there.
Brilliant
So
stuff.
I think we're going to bring it to the present moment and the present time, which is often a really, really good place to begin anyway, which is at time of recording. What's happening for you currently in terms of your life, your music, particularly because there's a particular release at the moment, and I think that's going to be one of the primary things that we're going to talk about. But yeah, I think begin with where you are, if that's okay, Sam. I've also introduced, I'm referring to yourself as Sam, but Samantha Jean Music, for those that want to find the music, and we'll talk a bit about that later as well. So what's happening for you at the moment?
Oh God, it's been a nightmare for you.
Oh dear.
It's been a bloody nightmare.
Oh.
So I have literally just on Saturday moved from the West Midlands or Worcestershire down to Brecon Beacons in South Wales. We've made a massive move
And
of
how
about
far is that? Just sorry to interrupt you for those that don't know, because some people might not
108
know.
miles.
Wow.
108 miles. So it
Wow.
was literally, we had a van for 10 days because we tried to do it all ourselves because the cost of removals was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And oh God, we had this van for 10 days and it was like a 5 hour round trip plus the time unloading. And we did that about 6 or 7 times. On some occasions, twice in one day.
And
So
I'm
very, very,
assuming as well, in your own neck of the woods, there was stuff you had to get rid of in terms of where you were that you weren't bringing with you. So there was
yes.
all of that emptying stuff out of places. And for anyone who's watching and with us, I think let's just take a breather for a moment. I don't think that's going to suit you very well because I don't think you take a breather at all.
I'm always
But
on the
I,
go.
I'm feeling worn out just listening to you, so I'm gonna have a little sip of water, yeah. But but you are
But
very busy.
very, very busy.
Mm,
So obviously at home, my primary job is a funeral celebrant. So I had to wrap up a lot of work stuff, obviously back in the Midlands.
mm,
And oh God, it's been a nightmare. It has
mm,
been a nightmare of a move, but we got the keys for the house on the 1st of November and we finally moved in on Saturday. So it was bye bye Worcestershire and hello South Wales. And it is just so picturesque and beautiful here. The house is stunning. It's amazing. And because of you, in the last 24 hours, I have worked my backside to the bone to get my studio ready
you're
for this
welcome. Well,
podcast.
you're welcome. You're welcome.
But I
Yeah,
have to say
it's a
thank you.
pleasure to be of service. Yeah.
Oh, I have to say thank you because it's absolutely stunning. It's my chill place. It's where I'm going to spend a lot of time here. And it's just beautiful. But during the move, my piano got bashed.
Mm,
The removal guys were bringing it up. They decided they would move it as one piece rather than taking the keyboard off the top.
mm,
And as they were pulling it up the stairs, one of them got tired, decided to put all the weight on the left leg of the
oh.
piano, and the whole thing just buckled. So I've spent 3 hours today attaching L brackets galore to my piano, but it's in one piece. It's
And you're incredibly resourceful, Sam. That's coming through loud and clear already. And in the brief time that I've known you, you know, when you because we were messaging earlier, I was at the recording studio today, and you were messaging me, sending videos. Thank you so much to get a sneaky peek behind the scenes of what you were doing. But things like that, you know, going to a B&Q and getting some brackets to, you know,
yeah,
sort out the problem with the keyboard. The light you've got behind, I think a
yeah, I
USB.
fixed it. I fixed it. I was moving the sofa behind me and I knocked the USB out of the plug and it ripped to shreds. It literally just, it was broken. So I ended up sitting there for about half an hour stripping wires. I found an old USB cable that I didn't need anymore. I cut it, I stripped all the wires, I wrapped them together. I went down, I soldered them. I went to the local hardware store, bought some electrical tape, but it's working. It's working. And it
So
says it's back to front your side, but it actually says
it
proud, which
and
is
it I think it does as well on when it's kind of comes the right way round. If there's a non-technical thing, but when it comes through the wash of the video, it will be the correct way round because I've done the same myself. So just thinking of everything you've shared there. So celebrant, qualified celebrant. Music, you are very much a singer-songwriter. Now, whilst I know you have shared, particularly I listen to music in Spotify, I'd encourage people to find you, not just in Spotify, but other places too. And you have done some cover versions of songs, but you are a writer too. And
yes.
of course, I think that is going to come out over a period of time. But at time of recording, November the 18th, am I right in saying that today is the day that Father and Daughter is released?
It was released at midnight, and I deliberately chose this day because when I release music, I do it on specific days
Mm,
because the music that I release is music that I feel.
mm,
It's music that I feel deep within.
mm,
So proud, hence the light.
mhm.
Uh, Proud was released on the 2nd of May, which was my 40th birthday. And it was a charity single with all 100% of proceeds going to Birmingham Children's Hospital, Diabetes UK, and CALM, the Campaign Against Living Miserably. Um, and today, Father and Daughter was released because today would have been my late son's 13th birthday.
Mhm.
We lost Alfie in 2011 when he was 11 days old, and he would have been 13 today. So it seemed really appropriate to release the track on this day.
Yeah, yeah. And I know we'll talk a little bit more about your life and things that have happened in your life, your experiences, but I want to just share who you are that I've seen in the brief time I've known you, and I genuinely did see it straight away. I really, really did, which I know is an exceptional, perhaps odd thing to say, but it was true. That what you've done, and what you do. You've mentioned it already about music, and you feel it. And when people listen to the songs, even though you currently have shared songs that have been written by other people, the emotion that comes through in your voice. Some people can, many people can sing, can't they? They can technically do it, but you will unite. You will unite with the emotion of a song, and that makes even more sense now with what you've just shared.
Mhm.
So very poignant, very an opportunity because, of course, your experience is yours, but many people have experienced similar.
Yeah.
And I think with yourself, what you're doing is amazing, and I think there's far, far more to come. And now you've made the move, and now you're where you are. You're going to be sharing music that comes from that place of a depth of a feeling and the heart and soul, and you really are that. So Father and Daughter is available everywhere, is that correct?
It is. It's
Yeah,
available on all major streaming platforms.
yeah.
And the song was originally a Michael Bolton song.
Mm,
I rewrote it. So some of the lyrics are the same, but some I've kind of rewritten and changed up a little bit.
mm,
Mm. And I've done it for my dad.
mm.
Ultimately, it's for my dad. I mean, there's a part at the end where you actually hear my dad's voice.
Yes.
I scrolled through hundreds and hundreds of WhatsApp messages to find that voice note from my dad
Wow.
to include his voice in the songs. My dad moved down here 9 years ago, and he was always just 10 minutes around the corner. And then last December, my stepmom, who I love and adore, had a stroke. She had a stroke, and we'd been looking at moving away for a while, moving away from the bad memories that were back in the town where I'd always lived from birth.
Mm.
And so it just seemed right to be down here and be closer to my dad. And my dad is absolutely over the moon that for 9 years, his baby girl, as he calls me, is now 10 minutes around the corner again. So he's
Amazing.
very
Yeah.
happy, and he loves the song. He loves it.
And I think you shared a little snippet video. I might be getting this wrong, whether it was a pool table that he was playing pool and or something like that, and he was smiling, really, really smiling. And yeah,
He wouldn't stop smiling at me. It was the day we came down.
yeah.
It was a week last Saturday, and he came over with my stepmom to help us sort of like shift a few bits. And we're very lucky that in the house we've moved into, we've got like a family room downstairs
Mm.
with a cinema screen and some cinema chairs and this beautiful pool table. And my dad was playing pool with Leanna, and he just kept looking up at me with this great big grin on his face. Dad, why are you doing that? And he said,
Mm.
my baby girl's back. My baby
Oh,
girl's, and that just, yeah, it's made the last 10 days and all the stress and the last few weeks, it's just made it all so worthwhile just to be close to my dad. Because it was when my dad moved in 2015, it was almost like I'd lost my dad as well as losing my mum. And it was a surreal kind of feeling. But to be down here with him 10 minutes around the corner and surrounded by so much gorgeous countryside, it's a massive change. It's a massive change. I struggle to sleep at night because I can't hear the car noises. I struggle
the
because I have to
the
have noise in the
the
bedroom.
the therapeutic sound of busy traffic. Yeah, but I totally get you. I totally get you, and I think again for you with what you've shared, and I just invite you in a moment to share more of your life that you're comfortable with, and I think it. You're generous. I know you've met John as well, and we've spent a little bit of time together, and we've got bits of projects going on with that, which is for talking about another day. But one thing I'm learning very, very much at the moment in my stage of life, and I'm holding this out to those that are with us in this recorded video as well, listening or watching, is the best you can do. The best you can do is to take the loss that you experience, whatever that is, and to take that over time, because of course that's not something that happens quickly, but to take that experience and rechannel it, reframe it into the best you can for making your life better and the lives of others better. And again, I want to emphasize, and it could run the risk of coming across as a bit sycophantical, but I'm straight, I'm honest, and you're a bright light. You're a bright light, Sam. You really, really are. And when we spent time together in the car, after we were creating together, and you shared your life with me. Sometimes people use that cliche term and say humbled. It's humbling. But it was the context it gave to me and experiences of life, but what you're doing now. So, as much as you're prepared to share, you've already begun some things of your life. I'd like you to share what you're comfortable with and how have you taken those experiences and channeled them into where you are now? Because that, of course, could be of great benefit to others.
Yeah. So, um, I had a difficult childhood. I had a difficult childhood. I was a victim of child abuse. Um, and when I was 15, I was groomed into a relationship with a much older gentleman. And I spent 15 years trapped in that relationship, unable to get out. I tried numerous times to release myself from that situation, up and including many attempts to take my own life. Um, in 2010, November 2010, the 21st, we lost my mum to medical negligence. She was 55. She'd been diabetic, insulin dependent diabetic all her life, since the age of about 19 or 20. She'd gone into hospital with a kidney infection. And as most diabetics will know, when you've got an infection, your blood sugars run rife. They're up, down, all over the place. So mum was being monitored for high and low blood sugar. She was due to be released from hospital on the weekend. I saw her on the Friday evening. She was fine, a little bit groggy, nothing too major. And then I got a call at 10 to 6 on the Saturday morning to say that she was very poorly. So we went up to the hospital and it was evident that something had gone wrong. I remember saying to my dad, she's either gone hypo, been left in a hypo and not monitored, or she's been given too much insulin. As it transpired, my mum had been wrongly given insulin when she was on a blood sugar of 3.4, when she should have been given glucose, and then she'd been left for 12 and a half hours without being checked. So mum died of an irreparable brain damage caused by that 8 days later on the 21st of November. Excuse me. The following year, on Mother's Day, actually, it was Mother's Day, I found out that I was expecting. Found out on my birthday, I was having a beautiful little boy. Alfie Ray was born on the 18th of November. Alfie Ray Jr., my pride and joy. And then he was very poorly. He was very, very poorly. It turned out that Alfie had something called neurometabolic disease, which is something to do with the enzymes, the bad enzymes in the body eating away at the good enzymes. So he was very poorly. It's a terminal illness. It's very rare that children survive past 6 months or even survive birth. So really, he was a little miracle. I'd already experienced a miracle with my eldest daughter, Ellie Mae, who's now 17. She has Turner syndrome. and only 1.5% of Turner syndrome conceptions make it to birth, and she's now 17. So she's my little sweetheart. Um, but it was very evident that something was very wrong with Alfie Ray. So he was shipped off to different hospitals. His final hospital was Birmingham Children's, and he passed away on my mum's birthday on the 29th of November 2011, a year after we'd lost my mum. And what's strange is he actually was declared gone at 3:35 in the afternoon, which was 56 years, or 50 would have been 57 years, to the day, the minute that my mum had been born. My mum was born at 3:35 p.m. on the 29th of November 1954. So yeah, that was quite strange. But I kind of look at it that there's no reason why I should have lost my mum. You know, my mum should still be here. But she gifted Alfie to me so that I could have him for 11 days in the 11th month of the 11th year, and then gift him back to her for her birthday. And I truly believe that he went straight to her arms from mine. And then I was devastated. Obviously, it took me a while to get back on my feet. I had two other children at home. Had my eldest daughter, my younger daughter, my stepson Ricky. So it was hard. It was really hard, and it hit Ricky hard as well. He'd lost, his nan and brother within 12 months of each other. So in 2012, I began to train as a bereavement counsellor. And I qualified, did all my training and qualified as a bereavement counsellor. I wanted to help families who had experienced loss on either end of the scale, whether it was a parent who'd lost a child or a child who'd lost a parent, being able to relate with both.
And apologies for pausing you there, Sam, but you've moved a long way now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course that changes work, everything else. Without putting you on the spot, is that something you intend to continue utilizing that qualification and the celebrant side of things now?
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So I trained as a qualified as a bereavement counsellor. And then I began working for a funeral directors. Started off working as a funeral arranger, just helping families, organise funerals. And I actually worked for the funeral directors that looked after Alfie, which was really strange, but really nice in a way.
Yeah.
I always felt close to him somehow, strangely.
Comforting in some way. Yeah,
Very much
yeah.
so, very much so. I did all my mortician training. I did all my qualifications. And then whilst I was at the funeral directors, obviously I've skipped a bit here. Between that time in January 2015, I had managed to flee my relationship at that point. I left in July 2014, and in August I met my now fiance, and things were fantastic. And then in January 2015, my ex-partner was sent to prison for 25 years for a lot of various things, which I won't go into.
Yeah.
So I was finally free. I finally had my release. But in July 2018, on the 4th of July 2018, I was going to work as normal, and I received a call from a police officer to say that Ricky had been found. Ricky had taken his own life. My stepson Ricky. When I met my previous partner, his then ex-partner was 5 months pregnant with Ricky. So I'd raised the boy from birth. My boy Lollipop, as I used to call him. He was my pride and joy, and my absolute everything, and the best big brother to the two girls. Best big brother. And he had so many demons. He always struggled with the loss of Alfie, more so than my mum. He really struggled with Alfie, losing Alfie. And then obviously everything that happened with his dad. And losing Alfie was devastating, absolutely devastating. To lose Ricky crushed me. I knew everything about him. And for 18 years, I'd loved him for 18 years. I knew his likes, his dislikes. I knew by one look on his face how he was feeling. By the tone of his voice, I knew what kind of day he was having. It crushed me, absolutely crushed me. I looked after Ricky at the funeral directors I was working at, and he was the last person that I looked after at that funeral directors. I then left and trained as a funeral celebrant. I wanted to stay in a profession that I was very passionate about, but I just couldn't work in that capacity anymore after what I went through with Ricky. So I trained as a celebrant in September 2018, and in 6 years, just over 6 years now, I've looked after over 1,200 families. Been very, very, very blessed with so many beautiful families to care for. And it is the most rewarding thing in the world. When you sit with a family, you arrange everything for them, you go and deliver that service on the day, and you truly celebrate their loved ones' lives. It's the most rewarding feeling in the world. And it was something that Ricky knew about, that I was looking into, and I know he'd be proud. I know he'd be proud. But I lost.
Sometimes, Sam, sorry, sometimes I play catch up myself, but I also play catch up in regard to the individuals that are listening and watching.
Yeah.
Because to give time for what you've shared, and also more accurately what you've done with what you've shared. So when you said 1,200, yeah, that's not a small number, and I think for the way that you've taken I don't think tragedy does it. I don't think, definitely trauma doesn't do it. When you said devastated and then crushed, yeah, that's strong. That's a strong expression, and you're expressing your life.
Yeah.
You know, what you've experienced. So I think for you to do that in the format that we're in now is even deeper than what you've just shared. But the vast way that you've turned that around to help so many families. And I wanted just to say, which isn't at all sickly feeling, that whatever links you feel that you want to share, they 100% totally are going to go in the description of this video, and that includes also support for people that you're aware of. So any organisations that you've come across, I am backtracking slightly within the framework of the time that we have. So Calm was an organisation you mentioned. Can you tell us who they are again?
So the Calm are the Campaign Against Living Miserably, and do you know, they were absolutely bloody brilliant when whilst Ricky. They were fantastic. So Calm works specifically with young men and their families aged between 18 and 45 who are struggling with suicide, or families, unfortunately, who have fallen victim to their sons, nephews, grandsons, children, losing them to suicide. They are a fantastic charity, absolutely amazing. They're not that well known. They're not as well known as Places Mind and etc. But they are absolutely fantastic in what they do. The support they gave me and my family was incredible, absolutely incredible. And they all deserve medals. People who work there deserve a medal, because, honest to God, how they do that day to day is beyond me.
Well, tragically, there is a need, isn't there? So that's why I wanted just to pause that moment for anything, any links that you have, and in terms of what you're doing in the new area, etc. Because the one thing I know, with no fear of a bias at all, and it's just shining through so brightly. It's I don't even need to say it, but the level of what you've done with your life and your loss, your grief, your crushed, everything that you've done to turn into the qualifications that you have and the way you can use those. And also there's the music. And also there's the music and the emotional place that comes from. So there's so much that you've done that is enabling other people to cope, manage to the best of their ability with their loss and their grief. And that's why I wanted just to pause there for a moment, just to say there's going to be everything there. The information's there because you never know. You never know. There might, of course, be somebody watching this, listening. I remember it's totally different direction. Jimmy Carr, the comedian.
Yes.
The comedian, Jimmy Carr. And a really, really interesting guy. Really interesting guy. That one of those people that people can get one dimension aspect of him. But he did a podcast once and he said about this lady who made a comment or made contact with him and thanked him because he saved her life.
Oh, wow.
And he said in the interview, he said, "What do you do with that?" He said, "This person contacted me because they were going through YouTube or wherever and they found a video of Jimmy Carr and it made them laugh."
Oh,
So all I'm sharing there is because of what you've done and because of who you are and the contacts that you've gained and the experience tragically that you've gained, I think it's really, really important to share that because of course that, as you've done with so many people, that could make a difference to their lives. So yeah, I mean, incredible. And for you to time this, we had an agreement decision to record. So between November the 18th and the 21st, which are two incredibly pivotal dates for you, and with the release of Father and Daughter, with you honoring your dad, it's just incredible. It really, really is. And I know there's more to come from you and from our connection and from our creativity and everything else that you have planned, and now you're settled where you are. So perhaps just in conclusion for this particular episode,
yeah.
okay, I'd like you to share, I think in this order, where people can find you, any other thoughts that perhaps we haven't covered, and a parting message to encourage anybody who might be listening who is feeling lost and desperate at this time, and that of course can go across a number of different levels as to how you've managed to get through what you've got through.
Yeah.
And I say get through, I don't think that's ever the case, to continue as you are and to create as you do. So I think, how can people find you? And I think a parting message from your experience.
Yeah. So, um, just to go on my music a second, when I lost Ricky, I lost all kind of hope of music. I lost every single scrap of musical ability that I had. I just wasn't interested. My passion had gone. But in November 22, I sat at the cemetery and I was talking to his headstone. I just said to him, "Do you know what, Rick? I'm going to do something with my music. I'll make you proud. Promise I'll make you proud." The following year, in the January, I signed up for a local competition up where I used to live, called Redditch Has Talent, which I entered and I won. And I've even got the little trophy.
Oh wow!
I won that.
Can you send us a photograph? Because I want to. I would love to have that as an image in the video as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. I was
Thank
so
you.
proud. I was so proud. It was the first talent competition I'd entered in 20 years and I won. So I was really, really proud. And then I started streaming on TikTok in the October. So people can find me on YouTube and TikTok under Samantha G Music. I'm also on Facebook, Samantha G Music. And now I've moved, I will start being a lot more active than I have been over the last few weeks. So now I've got my lovely studio set up, which I thank you for. I'm going to be doing home lives on TikTok. I usually go out busking as well, but obviously, I'm re-establishing down here as a funeral celebrant, and that is my main priority.
Yeah.
Music is very much a therapy for me, and I have some really lovely followers who almost use my music as a therapy for them, which is
Totally.
really, and such a strange, humbling, and proud kind of feeling, really. But so yeah, I can be found on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook under Samantha Jean Music. My music can be streamed on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, all major streaming platforms. Again, Samantha Jean Music. If I had a message for anybody, I've been in that position where you're literally scraping the barrel so hard your fingers bleed. Your fingers bleed because you're scraping the bottom of that barrel so hard. But one thing I've come to realize is there is always hope. There is always hope. You've just got to keep pushing through. Just keep pushing through and speak up. Don't feel that you're alone. Always speak up. If there's nobody nearby, a family or a friend that you feel that you can speak to, pick up the phone, speak to one of the numerous services that are out there. Please just speak up, because the heartache that comes with losing someone you love to suicide, there are no words for it. There are no words for it. Just speak up and know that you're not alone. Even though you don't believe it in that moment, there is a way. There is a path for you. You've just got to look for it. You've just got to keep pushing. Keep pushing. Please don't feel that you're alone, because you're not.
Sam, thank you. Thank you so much. On behalf of those who are privileged enough to see this and hear this, and your heart, your soul, what you've shared, and the light you are to the world. And keep shining bright, because we need more people like yourself, and of course we can all do that. So I'm so grateful to you, and I'm grateful to know you, and looking forward to even more. Thank you so much, Sam.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
If you could catch a star for me, I swear you'd steal them all tonight, to make my every wish come true, and every dream for all my life. But that's not how the story goes. The world is full of perfect plans. If there's a promise that you broke, I know one day